instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. All right, well, welcome everybody to the Flagstick Podcast, which is sponsored once again this week by our good buddies at TaylorMade. With Stealth, they've pushed past the limits of titanium and introduced the world to the carbon wood age. So how far are they willing to take it? Way past far and into forgiveness. Introducing all new Stealth 2, Stealth 2 Plus, combining the elements of speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness. Visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca to learn more. Just a reminder to everybody to make sure that you are following across all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and TikTok. Subscribing on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and we really do encourage, as always, we tell you this, but we mean it, YouTube channel, subscribe to it, like us, click the notification bell, make sure you never miss a single episode, as the seriously unique content is being put up there, not just this podcast, and the contesting has begun, which we'll get to a little bit later. Again, to remind you, the contesting has begun. Scotty Mac, off the top, let me just say, 9 holes in the bank.
Yay. Yay.
Yeah, I know it's I got to the point now. I listened to you the last episode we were talking, and you're like,
wow,
you just got to play
time
golf.
Ever.
I know. Usually it's in one ear and out the other, but you know.
Good. I'm glad to hear you got out and played.
It was okay.
Yep.
But I am obviously feeling a little bit of the effects of it physically. Yeah. The body just wasn't ready for 9 holes.
Here's the thing, though. It's about restoring your connection with the game. And I did it on Monday night, sort of the same thing. I played on Sunday. I have a regular game that I try to play on Sunday if I don't have to, go over and cover a tournament or be away at something else from a family perspective. But you know what? Monday night, I decided basically I had no lessons. I had, a whole bunch of stuff done already. And I'm like, I'm just going to go over to the golf course and play 9 holes, just like I did when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And,
clearly
just being
you're
out
not
there,
a kid.
No, I'm not. But the thing is, I think we get so wrapped up and busy with a lot of different things, and we have regular things that we're doing in our lives. And then, the game itself gets kind of pushed aside. And although we're around it every day, especially in our line of work, you'll lose that element of what really attracts you to the game. So just that sense of going out there and playing, not really caring so much about score, trying to hit some good shots, enjoying what was going on outside as far as the environment and stuff like that. I think more people in the golf industry just need to do that, just to reconnect and remind them what they really enjoyed about the game in the first place.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was nice. It was fun. Not serious whatsoever. Trust me, it's very far from serious. Surprised myself at how well I hit it, considering the way I had to hit it to compensate for my physical ailments right now. But
sure,
I mean, the walk was good. I did not take a cart. Contrary to some suggestions, I felt that if I took a cart, then probably what was going on would just get tight every time I sat down and then got back out of the cart to hit a shot. So I thought, I'm going to walk and try to loosen things up a little bit, and felt great until about the 8th hole, and then the old body started to lock up a little bit.
Do you think taking a cart, the more that you get into that, becomes a little bit of a rabbit hole? I think people.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. I got to be careful because I don't want to, because I know cart rental is a revenue source for golf courses. At the same time, I don't think that unless you need to physically for some reason take a cart and not walk. With the push carts now and how easy they are to push, and nobody has to carry their bag. Nobody has to drag it behind them. You can get a 3-wheel or 4-wheel push cart where you basically just push it along with one finger. And the walking, like, it's just, I'm
not saying it from a judgment standpoint. I'm just saying it I know some people, for an example, that, have said to me that they've gotten in the habit of taking a cart, and it became a habit for them And then when they stopped doing it for a little bit and went back to walking, they realized that that walking component was a fun part of the game for
It
them.
is. It is.
And it was part of their exercise and stuff like that. And that's literally what they said. It was just a habit because of certain friends wanted to take a card or whatever. And hey, I'm not against a card. I mean, we played millions of golf
Oh
courses where
yes.
there's
Yes.
so much room between holes that you have to, or you're carrying camera gear, or it's super hot out or whatever the case may be, or it's a corporate outing or whatever the case. I'm just thinking sometimes, yeah, people get sort of into a funk and then forget that walking component is kind of a fun aspect of the game for
Well,
some people.
and there's a social aspect to it. I know last night,
Mm.
I played with my youngest son Brandon
Yep.
and my brother Sean, who's happened to be his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday a day later, Sean. But we went out just to play 9 holes together, and if I had been in a cart, I would have constantly been out of the conversation.
Right. Yeah.
So with the three of us there, I mean, the banter and the chirping and the discussions and things like that as we walked
Yeah.
up the fairway together,
Right.
then separating to go to our individual balls to hit shots so as not to hold up the pace of
Interesting.
play.
Yeah.
That's the part of it, right? You're
Mhm.
just walking down the
Yeah, because you
fairway
because
and
you think about that. If you ended up with a random pairing sometime,
mhm.
you go to a golf course and say it's you and one other person, and you're in a cart and you get paired up with two people and they're in their cart. Chances are, short of a tee box or on the green, which is a very short period of time, you're probably not going to get to know those people at all.
Mhm.
And I get it. Some people don't go to the play golf to be social,
But no,
but
in
it is
some cases you
definitely
don't want to get to know them because maybe it's
sure.
not it's
Yeah.
not a good grouping, but maybe it's
Yeah.
the separation is good. But
Yeah.
if you really don't want to converse with somebody when you're golfing, you don't have to walk with them either. But if you
Right.
you initiate that conversation and it's
Yeah.
good, then the banter is good and the chats are good. Then playing golf with a random person is a good thing.
Yeah. I
And if
mean,
it's not,
I know just like I've gotten to know a lot of people over the years
oh
through the
yeah,
game that way, which has been great. So, anyways, well,
yeah,
that's good to see you got out, and
yes.
hopefully more. The weather's made a nice little turn here.
Yes, I know. I definitely know that. No, I think it'll be from here on in, it'll probably be more the 3, 4, 5 holes after dinner kind of thing for
Perfect.
me, just to keep it short and simple. 9 hole
Yep.
walks are probably out of the realm for a while anyway, just
Yeah.
physically, but I can play.
Cool.
So
Good
it's all
stuff.
good. It's all good. All
What do we
right.
got going on this week?
Well, we do have a pretty decent show. We got we're going to mix things up just a little smidge. We got some news related stuff we want to get to. We're gonna bring Kevin and Jake Haime in the front nine this week to do the lesson tee,
Yep.
which we will be doing every week for a little while. And then in the back nine, we're going to go to that interview that we said that we were going to bring people with Jodie Jenkins from Endless Summer,
Yep.
the long drive competition that's being held down in Belleville. And we got that interview with him, so we're going to learn all about that event. Seems like it's going to be a fantastic event,
World
so
class. Yeah. World class.
we're definitely looking forward to that interview to see what Jodie. We've known Jodie for a long time, so we'll get that interview in the back nine. And who knows what else we're going to throw in for discussion, but that's how the show's setting up. So without further ado, as they say, let's get on to the front nine, presented by Metcalfe Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Golf season is here. You need to save on your golf, and now is the time. Buy a membership, join a league, purchase some game packs, which are awesome, 10, 20, 30 game packs. Ready to hit the first tee. Visit metcalfegolf.com to shop for those now. Okay, so Scott, listen, we had the back-to-back weeks of great television golf. I'll call it, because we weren't there, but we had
Yeah.
the Canadian Open and the Nick
Yep.
Taylor and the big putt and all
The
that.
putts.
And then we go to the very next week, and what do we have? Not talk about the winner yet, but what do we have? We have Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
You know,
And Rory.
and well, Rory was there, but Ricky opens
Yeah.
up with
Sure.
Xander Schauffele and opened up with the 62 at a
Yeah.
U.S. Open in the
Yeah.
first round.
Yeah.
Scorching the course. And it's like, love Ricky Fowler. I love Ricky Fowler. I mean, the
So do a
whole
lot
when
of
he was
people.
younger with the whole orange thing, is
But he's
still.
younger. He's still wearing the orange on Sunday, just
I
not
know,
the
but I mean,
not
when
the
he was
full orange.
much
I know.
younger,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
orange
know what you're saying.
pants and all that whole
Yeah,
deal, and it was you love and the long hair with the hat over top of the ears and the whole,
yeah.
why is my hat so big?
SoCal thing. Yeah,
It's Ricky. And then here's Ricky in contention. And then after day 2, here's Ricky in contention. And then what? After day 3, here's Ricky in contention. Everyone's like,
yeah.
Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's going to win the US Open.
Doesn't work that way.
What happened, Ricky? Why? Why did you do it, Ricky? But that to me, that was the big story of the U.S. Open.
For sure.
I mean, there was obviously Rory going for another major after such a long layoff, and
Yeah.
then I'll say the new guy, but with
Obviously he won a Quail Hollow this year. Wyndham Clark won a Wells
but
Fargo. So yeah,
which is interesting because Rory, when he won his U.S. Open, I think at Congressional,
yeah,
he won the Wyndham at the Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Wells Fargo.
That's the problem with Wyndham Clark, is get his name in there. Everybody was making jokes about Wyndham rewards and getting the trophy and stuff. And one of the funniest tweets was someone tweeted out about, here's Wyndham Clark playing like Ritz Carlton Clark, which I thought was great. So nice upgrade.
So obviously Rory won the Wells Fargo and then went on to win the US Open.
Yeah.
And here's Wyndham Clark wins the Wells Fargo and what? Goes on to win the US Open. You love these little storylines. They mean nothing, really. When you're hearing these announcers talk about them, it's like
they're baseball stats.
Like, I get what you're doing here, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't. It means nothing. But unfortunately, Wyndham Clark did rain on Ricky's party a little bit. But then again, Ricky rained on his own party.
Yeah, for sure.
But interestingly enough, now here's what I love about Ricky Fowler, and there are other golfers on the tour that do this as well. But here's what I love about Ricky Fowler. Every single round, after the round was over, he stayed out there till dark, signing autographs for everybody, especially the kids.
Yeah.
Every round, even after the final round when he just pooped the bed and lost the US Open.
Yep.
Because realistically, let's be honest, he didn't play well and lost the US Open to Wyndham Clark, but he lost it. He could have won it if he did, even had 1 under for the day. Not the point. The point is he's out there signing autographs. He's doing and it just goes to show you the kind of person, like what's important to him. He wants to win. Sure. He wants to win.
Totally.
But at 100%. The end of the day, he's like, I didn't win.
Yeah.
I'm going home to the family. I'm a happy guy. I did well. Let's sign some autographs for everybody. It's just class act.
And I loved his comments before going into the tournament and talking about, failure and not being afraid of failure. And that's a great thing for all athletes, especially golfers, is to realize that, you have to embrace the fact that, it can happen, but you can't be afraid to fail. You've got to be willing to try.
Yeah.
And you will fail. I mean, golf is that game. We've talked about it many, many times. I mean, you can go play on this tour, 600 times and win 20 times out of that. And you've lost 580 times, but it's enough to get you into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what the game is about. So, for him to have that perspective and to realize and understand what it means for those kids, especially, that's great. It's good to see. So, and I know people are going to go, oh, you got to be super competitive and you got to be focused and whatever.
Do you?
Whatever. You're not in their shoes. And the problem I think sometimes is that, people just all of a sudden have, everybody's allowed their own opinion. I'm sure they are, but Ricky's just doing what's best for Ricky and what he feels is good for the game and good for the people that are interested in the game. And you got to respect that. So and also the other side of it too, the number of people who crapped on Ricky and Rory afterwards or whatever for not winning. Okay, go crap on the guy who's in 20th or 30th. I didn't hear you talking about them, or the guy that missed the cut or whatever. I mean, these are the guys that were in contention. So it's a hard game, and
you only have one winner.
Actions. Yeah, you can only have one winner. So Wyndham Clark earned it. Great that shot on Saturday, his final shot into the 18th. That twirl of the club, and so confident, and he was believing in himself, and knowing that he's good, and talked to himself, and he talked about that struggle out on the golf course to keep reminding himself what he was there for, and that he was good, and that he could do it. And man, it's not the physical. These all guys can play. It is that mental that ends up making the difference, as far as the belief in themselves, and not being afraid in that big moment. And obviously winning previously at Wells Fargo just a few weeks prior, probably very helpful, because he knew how to
sure.
get it to the
Be in that
finish line.
position.
Yeah, he knew how to get it to the finish line. And in the end, I mean, it was a cool golf course. There were some people that were critical of it because they didn't think it was like, but didn't think it was a typical US Open golf course, but players loved it. I listened
What
to
is a typical U.S. Open golf course?
Well,
to me,
that's
what's
the
considered a
problem.
typical U.S. Open golf course in the last number of years, that's changed. I mean,
Right.
for every U.S. Open for the longest time has been at a
one of the
call it a link
Northeast
style golf course, whether it's Harding Park, or it's Kiowa, or like, it's just that Whistling Straits, or not to me, not more of an Open Championship style course than a U.S. Open. To me, a U.S. Open style golf course is what with LACC was.
Yeah.
I mean, a little more,
I think
long.
I think they have to move it around and stuff anyways. And I get it. There's a lot of factors that come into it. But, people want to listen to, there's some great interviews. Like Padraig Harrington did a really good interview on No Laying Up, not to pimp other podcasts here or whatever, but it was insightful in the fact that he talked about the golf course from his perspective, and what he saw from his perspective. And then I will tell you what his perspective was as a player, and as somebody who finished T27, as a 3-time major champion, as a World Golf Hall of Famer. His perspective, I totally have belief in it, and it was counter to what I heard a lot of on Twitter, and social media and stuff like that, or whatever. So you know what, enjoy it. It was a great winner, and you know what, we got another major this week on the LPGA side, which at Baltusrol of all places.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing.
I remember the 600 plus yard par 5 that when John Daly was coming out there and nobody could reach it, and he reached it with a driver and an iron.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ladies are basically, they're underway here now, and it's a great test of golf. Matt Wilson, who's the director of instruction down there, is a Canadian, which is and he's off on vacation this week, thankfully, so he's probably pretty happy. I think I saw he's in Quebec or something. But a great test for them. The players, we're talking to the media yesterday. Greens are playing firm and fast. Scoring is not low early on, and don't expect it to be. They are playing for a $9 million purse. So, this is a very elevated event. It's a big one for the tour. We know obviously Brooke won this, years ago now, as she said. Wow, she can't believe how long ago it was already. But it's shaping up to be another great major week, and should be great television as well.
Yeah, she had a quote, Scott, that she's been struggling a little bit, like a lot of players do,
down, right?
very inconsistent with their game. But she had a quote when she spoke to the media yesterday.
It was yesterday.
And said, "I feel like this is one of the most important stretches of the year right now, starting this week. We have 4 majors left, Canadian Open for her, not too far away. This is definitely a time to start peaking and start to be on the up. So hopefully this happens." There's more to that quote, but essentially that's where she's at, is like, okay, right now I need to start moving in this direction and stop moving in the up and down direction. So good for her. Hopefully she has a good week. We hope. I think sometimes we want so much for her, but there's also so many that expect so much from her. And I don't think that I don't think that the expectations can be as realistic as maybe they used to be, where you'd expect Annika Sorensen to win every week, or you'd expect Lorena Ochoa to win every week, or you expected Lydia Ko to win every week.
It's too much competition out there now.
There's too much parity in it now. Anybody can win it, and it's the same thing with the PGA Tour, where we expected Tiger to win every week, or be in contention every
but
week.
Guess what? Wyndham Clark wins some weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Or Rich Beam.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple other things. You were doing a little reconnaissance, not caddying this year, but spending some time at Cataraqui Golf and Country Club down in Kingston, where you are residing. And
it seems that way.
You spent a little bit of time on the golf course watching some really good golf and some really good match play.
Yeah, the historic Eastern Provinces, the Empire Life Eastern Provinces was on, which has been held since the 1950s. And now that is held concurrently with the Ontario Women's Match Play, which started in 75. So as a result of it, the field day attracted a lot of players, but the match play itself attracted about 38 players, tons with college affiliations. We had a U.S. senior women's amateur former winner in the field. Was great play. I went out for the field day portion, watched some play there, was able to catch up with some of the players that, interact with back and forth on social media and stuff like that. And some that I know, some that I haven't met before, but it was nice to put kind of a face to the name and introduce yourself. Even some of the parents and stuff like that, getting to talk to some of them. And then went to match play. I popped back on Monday, which was the semifinals and the finals. Great matchups there. Miranda Quinton, who plays at Penn State, faced off against Judith Karinis, who won the 2017 U.S. Senior Women's Amateur. That match went back and forth until Miranda, who's she's coming off a freshman season where she didn't play that much. But she's definitely coming into her own. She closed her out on 15. And then Reza Sheikh, who won last year, was facing Nia Kelly, who plays out of the Kawartha Golf and Country Club, who plays at Kennesaw State. Reza played at UNLV Reno, and they had quite the battle. It actually went to 19 holes in their semifinal. Wow. And Nia finished that off with a nice birdie on the first hole at Cataraqui there. And then basically it ended up being Penn State versus Kennesaw in the final. And that went right to 18. It was a great match, a real test of skill. I mean, these are two young players who, like I said, just finished their freshman years at university, but are definitely coming into their own. You can see that from a play standpoint. I've seen these players playing for a number of years at Ontario amateurs, juniors, so forth, but their game is actually getting that much better. And it made for a quality match. And Nia was able to finish it off with a 3.5 foot putt on 18, get that title with her dad, Matt, on the bag, who was also there for Father's Day as well as he was last year. So that was nice to see. I had a funny one. I have to interject this one, though. It's funny. I just happened to be in the bathroom at the locker room just before we went out for the final, and I walked up to the sink, and there was kind of a long sink area there, whatever. And then I looked up to my left, and there's Miranda's dad on my left, and Nia's dad on my right. And I'm like, do I need to referee, boys?
I was going to say that's like the intervention there to separate the two.
Yeah, and nice. The funny part is they didn't realize, because it was a long sort of area, and they didn't realize they were both standing there or whatever, and it's just for the match, and had a good laugh there. And the parents were great too. They were out watching, and it was fun to see. A great winner, and congratulations to her. And Cataraqui did a nice job with the championship, as did all the staff that was there, and the players enjoyed it. And that event is getting more stature. So there's better players coming all the time, and with them having that. And so it was great to see all those college players and other top amateurs out there playing. So
cool, great story.
Yeah,
a bathroom stall story to
well, it wasn't the stall, it was at the sink.
No, I get
it. It was pretty funny when all of a sudden I just look up and there's the two of them, and I'm in between them. So I wanted to throw in the referee jersey.
That is funny. Okay, so Well, as you said, we're going to mix things up a little bit, but before we head off to the lesson tee with Kevin and Jake, I just want to bring up the fact that the Flagstick.com PGA of Ottawa Summer Open is presented by Cobra Golf. Puma Golf will be held at Whitetail.
That's next
coming
week.
up next week. That should be exciting. I am hoping that I can clear some time in the schedule to get up there and
nice.
see everybody.
I am not in the field. I am not entering
that's
for
too
this
bad.
one. I'm
I
sorry.
I don't know why not. You got to represent. Represent.
I can't play them all.
No, I understand. I totally understand. Flagstick shootout updates. I just want to mention that we are down to the nitty gritty on this. Like, this is it. I know people have been holding back. We haven't quite got the numbers that we were hoping for. And I'm not concerned about it at all. I don't care. I know there's conflicting events with club championships and club events and things going on, qualifiers for intersectionals and so on and so forth. I totally understand that. But I will say this now, don't be delaying anymore. I never like to impose hard deadlines on people, but
we're gonna have to.
We got to order product and make sure the product is here for everybody so that you get your nice swag gifts. So get yourself registered so that we can select you for the field. Get yourself registered. No more hesitation. And no more delaying. Get it done now.
Off what, June 30th?
I think the end of June. Another week and it's done. And whatever we have. Don't, you can reach out to me after that to try to get in, but at that point I can't guarantee anything. So you got basically a little over a week here. Get it done. No more waiting.
I'm gonna be down at the Ontario Men's Amateur next week at Black Bear. I'm gonna see a bunch of players out there, so I'll be down there just to come remind people a little. And again, bit
forget about it. If anybody thinks the whole index thing, yes, there's no flights or divisions as divisions, flights, whatever you want to call them. We don't have any divisions of flights. It's one big event. Everybody in, free for all. Let's go. We don't set the golf course up from the back tees on every single hole, jammed there, making it. We set the course
6,500.
We set the course up to be playable, scoreable, but challenging. That's how we do it. So if you think because you're a 10 handicap or an 8 handicap that you're not going to be able to get in for one thing, that's a lie. If you think because your index is high that you're not going to be able to compete, well, that's a lie. So just register, get into it. It's worth it. Trust me, for everything that you get and the experience that you'll receive, it is worth it. Every penny of it.
All you have to do is look at our Twitter yesterday, and actually I'll get it up on flagstick.com as well. Our head rules official Jerry Bauer did a flyover drone video of the facility, and I mean, it is so good when you look at it from the air. People just need to look at that and realize you get 36 holes playing there and hanging out for the weekend on top of all your swag and everything else. I mean, just the experience of going there and playing for the weekend and hanging out will be great. So
so let's do that. And lastly, the YouTube contest. I want to make sure I get this in now, just in case people aren't listening in the back nine. I want to get this in now. We're doing the YouTube contest. Go to the YouTube channel, comment on any of the videos that are there. Comment on this video if you want, if you're hearing this now. Just comment pretty much anything. You got to subscribe and leave us a comment about the contest. I say, I want free stuff, whatever. Doesn't matter, really. Comment whatever you want to comment.
Just make sure it's something related to TaylorMade or the contest so that we know that's an entry.
Exactly.
And then we'll make our selections from there. But obviously time's going to get short with that as well. And if you want to win those prize packs, jump in. So
it's great prize packs. Balls, cap, towel.
And I promise more and more content is going to be coming up there all the time. So working on a few things. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but got a few review things, some other instruction stuff. all sorts of little things that are kind of in the planning here. So yeah, we'll be adding to that. There might be some live stuff. It's been a few years since I did anything YouTube live with some reviews and stuff like that, but definitely want to get into that a little bit more and do some of that. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a Q&A up there, do a live one. Who knows? Maybe we'll do an instruction one, whatever. So whatever the case, but get subscribed to the channel and you can take advantage of that.
Could be anything. Could be anything. Okay. We're really excited to have Kevin and Jake Haime back with us again this summer, doing some golf instruction on the lesson tee every week for the next little while, probably throughout the rest of the golf season. We're going to have some really cool tips by Kevin and Jake posted up on the website at flagstick.com, but first of all through this podcast. So I want to make sure that we get this in the front nine this week, not the back nine. So we're going to head out to the lesson tee presented by the Kevin Haime Golf School. Is always the right time to play better. Whether you need private lessons, better short game, some putting help, or even a custom club fitting, visit kevinhaime.com. And remember that better golf is a lot more fun. Let's get out to the lesson tee and see what Kevin and Jake have for us this week.
Happy Tip Tuesday, golfers. Jake, welcome back to the lesson tee. You can see I've got a special hat on today, everyone.
Yeah, it's
Be
prop
careful.
day.
It's prop day. Careful how close you get. But I've just extended a stick with a little duct tape off the bill of my cap because today we're talking about how the head should move in golf and how, keeping your head down and not moving your head at all is just bad advice. So just give me a general sense of what you think is acceptable for motion, and then we'll talk a little bit about rotation, and we'll show people using this stick really what the head should do.
Yeah, so I think it is true that the head shouldn't move a lot when you're swinging a golf club. If you have any major shifts around your body, you're probably moving too much in your golf swing. But if you think about this for a second, we can draw a point in the center of my chest and the center of my hips, and as I turn, those 2 points are going to move into my back leg a little bit. As a matter of fact, my chest and my pelvis are going to move up to 1.5 inches to 2 inches into my back leg.
Yeah, so if you don't move your head at all and your chest is moving a couple of inches, how does that work? You end up actually getting a reverse spine and your lines get messed up, right? Your balance gets messed up. So we actually need to move the head maybe 1 inch or so. We don't want the head to go forward. We don't want it to pull back. We don't want it to lift or drop too much. But we do want it to work a little bit to our back leg. Right?
Yeah, I think the way to say that is if you allow it to react to the body turn and the body's doing the right thing, your head won't move around a lot, but you'll have a more athletic motion.
Yeah. I'm very impressed that you haven't laughed yet with me staring at you with this giant stick.
The laughing was before.
Now let me do the rotation. Let me do the rotation thing,
Yeah,
because
go for it.
as I turn my shoulders up to 90 degrees, I want to stabilize, but certainly my head, and this is my eye line, it's turning about 20 to 25 degrees. And if I try to lock my head and not turn it, I literally can't make a rotation and load and set my weight into my back leg. So not only do you have to allow the head to move a little bit, but you also certainly want it, maybe more importantly, to rotate a little bit as you swing, right?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, that's why we see so many good players with their eyes starting to move up a little bit through impact. They're working towards their target, not where the ball is.
Yeah, that's a completely different point. But I mean, in the backswing, we let it go. And then as I'm moving through and turning, a lot of times I'll see a good player's eye line actually forward of where the ball is. So keeping the head down, staying too still, it's all very rigid. It'll inhibit motion, it'll prevent good shots, and it's not a great thing to do. So don't keep your head down and still. Let it move naturally.
Well, there you have it. Another fantastic tip from the dynamic duo of Kevin and Jake, the father-son duo of Kevin and Jake Haime. Once again, like I said, we're very excited to have both of them doing instruction on this podcast again this season. And thank you for that,
Everybody wants
Kevin
to
and
get
Jake.
better.
Yeah,
Everybody
don't they?
wants to get better. I think so.
It's true. I want to get better. I just don't want to practice. It
Maybe
doesn't
we
work
need
that way, though. So-
Maybe there's some content on that a little bit. Maybe
God.
if you can go to flagstick.com, there might be an article on there about, doing some things that you can improve your game without changing your swing.
I read the article. I like the
okay.
idea of
Good.
not changing my swing.
I like it.
Anyways, okay,
right.
so let's get out of here and pay some bills. When we come back, Scott's got his interview with Jodie Jenkins from the Zeke agency that is organizing the Endless Summer event, the long drive competition. But Scott's got that interview with Jodie Jenkins in the back nine. When we come back, stay with us.
That's far.
So much forgiveness. Wait, did you say forgiveness like far or forgiveness like forgiveness? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
I'm hearing far.
Forgiveness. Like forgiveness. Forgiveness? Forgiveness.
I'm still hearing far, but whatever.
Introducing Stealth 2 with more carbon for more forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Just hit it.
And welcome back to the Flagstick podcast with myself, Jeff Botter, and this guy here, Scott McLeod.
Hey.
As promised, as we jump into the back nine, presented by Greensboro Golf and Country Club. Save 40% on all daily green fee rates with FlexPass, including 6-day advance booking for only $425 plus tax. Visit greensmirror.com for more information. Again, sorry, as promised, jumping back into the back nine, and we're going to Scott did an interview. What's that?
Interview time.
It is interview time. We promised this last week, and here we are. Scott's interview with Jodie Jenkins of Zeke Agency, discussing the bringing this long drive competition to the Belleville area, and it is certainly shaping up to be a top level, awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, these guys are going to hit it a ton, and you're going to enjoy watching it event. So let's jump into this to the interview that Scott did with Jodie, and then we'll have a little discussion about it afterwards. So Scott McLeod with Jodie Jenkins of the Zeke Agency right here on the Flagstick podcast.
All right. Got a special guest today, joined by Jodie Jenkins. I spent some time on his show. It's time for him to come back and hang out on Flagstick. How you doing today, Jodie?
Good. What do they say? Paybacks. I don't know the rest of that statement, but
something like that. Jodie is the head of Zeke Agency, which is behind a huge event that's happening in Eastern Ontario this year and happened last year as well. Endless Summer. For people that have never heard about Endless Summer, can you sort of take us through and tell us what it's all about?
Yeah, so this was a little bit of a backstory. This was an event that actually started 6 years ago. This is the 7th year for it. Myself and a good friend named Tim Howard, which I remember, Scott, you being at the initial inauguration of the JT Classic Pro-Am and reporting on that. So it literally was two guys getting together to both love golf, wanted to present a different, unique charity golf experience. And so we started with a Pro-Am, and we were tapping into the Great Lakes Tour. We were reaching out to like PGA, LPGA, Epson Tour individuals, and we had great success. I mean, we had a lot of names that came through here that are big in Canadian golf, and we did some great things. We did that for 5 years, and then we took a break, and I started one with long drivers.
Right.
So we incorporated long drivers last year just to give a little twist. Sure. And it was very well received, integrated more of a party atmosphere, live music, and then had a championship that night. And this year, it's honestly, we were just talking off air.
It's like, insane.
It's way beyond anything I would have imagined or even planned for, to be honest. Yeah. And I mean, I'm proud of what we're doing. I'm excited about it, but it's like, by virtue of the field, the purse, and what's going on, it's literally the biggest long drive championship event in the country.
Yeah, it's gotten to be a big beast. So before we get to all the big names, which obviously you've had some announcements here that are, obviously super, super significant, but format of the event, I believe the Pro-Am is already sold out already, but dates, location,
yes.
What is that first?
July 5th and 6th, Trillium Wood Golf Club. So on the 5th, we have a live concert with the Abrams. Again, I know you know them well from
Kingston. Right around the corner from me. Yeah.
They unbelievable performers. So you can enjoy an outdoor concert. We'll talk about ticket stuff after. And then on Thursday the 6th, the Pro-Am was sold out pretty quickly, which is just a testament to what we've been able to build and the response from the community. 48 teams are going to be paired up with a long driver on each group. and they just play a regular modified scramble, nothing crazy there. They're not playing for score and just having fun. But on 4 holes, the long drivers are qualifying to see who gets into the finals that night. So they'll have to hit some additional tee shots on those 4 holes. For those that know Trillium, if you want to just think about it, it's holes 1, 9, 11, and 17. That's what we used last year. So we're planning on doing that this year. The reason some people say, why not 16 if you're familiar with Trillium, which is a long par 5? Well, it's because now there's houses all along the side. And so that has presented a little bit of an issue. But
having been to some of those long drive championships, yes, players can get a little wayward.
But to be honest, the houses are built like well within the distance that those guys wouldn't be hitting anyway. It's they'd be bombing it onto the road or whatever almost. But so they have those 4 qualifying holes, and then that night we take the top 24 based on points that are accumulated. They'll compete head to head starting at around 8 o'clock. And we're going to go under the lights. Sunbelt Equipment Rentals is lighting up the first fairway on number 1.
That's cool.
We brought in bleachers, simply because of what you mentioned, the magnitude and the names that are coming, like Kyle Berkshire, Martin Borgmeyer. Those are probably the 2 biggest, but there's a ton of them.
And let's get to that. I mean, for people who are not familiar with those 2, dominant world level athletes, and they are, they're both world champions. Explain sort of the excitement of one. How do you get those guys to Belleville, Ontario?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And the other side of it, what is it about them coming that you think will be fantastic? And I've seen them both hit before, and it's surreal actually. If a golfer goes and sees them hit, it's kind of like saying you drive a car and then going to watch F1.
Yeah, it's you can't even imagine what you're seeing because you can't wrap your head around it. But so we're so excited to have, top to bottom, the field is stacked. Like we have 4 world champions in the field. Like I didn't even mention Justin James and guys like Maurice Allen and just like it's crazy. But they obviously, I think one of the big draws, Scott, is that we have a significant purse in terms of what the payouts are when it comes to World Long Drive. The purse is 50,000 Canadian, obviously, and first prize is 20,000 Canadian, which, again, I'm not to brag, but like that's significantly more than some of the tour stops that they have. Now, it's obviously not as big as their televised events, granted, but like this is a significant event, not only in Canada, but I'll also say around the world in terms of what we're paying. So I think that's a draw.
And you have an exemption as well. You've got an affiliation with that. Don't forget to mention that.
Yeah, so we're partnered up with World Long Drive. I've had some great chats with Zane Smith and GF Sports that took over World Long Drive from Golf Channel, purchased them recently. They're doing great things and great relationship. And I think their approach was like, why reinvent the wheel in Canada when we can partner with what we're doing? So world ranking points, a world exemption for Atlanta this fall to the winner. And if the winner is already exempt, then it goes to the next highest finishing non-exempt winner. So it's not like, oh, the winner's exempt, nobody gets that opportunity. We're going to make sure that somebody gets that opportunity. But it's crazy to think that these guys are coming to the Quinte region, just 35, 40 minutes down from you in Kingston, not far from Ottawa, not far from Toronto. It's an opportunity to see the best in the world.
It's kind of crazy because I think about 30 years ago, the Canadian, like back when the original World Long Drive, there was a regional qualifier that was actually at Trillium because I can remember being in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a long time ago. And I think of how the sport has evolved and how these athletes have become so much bigger and stronger and faster. And like I said, having witnessed those guys hit before, having been to, a world final in Las Vegas one time to watch that on the Speedway, it's a spectacular event to see. So, I mean, I'm excited for the people of Eastern Ontario to kind of be exposed to that. Are we seeing any Canadian content? Obviously, we have some big hitters from Canada.
Yeah.
Can you mention kind of who's in the field that might be coming along?
Yes, we have the top ranked Canadian in the world, Ryan Gregnall, wonderful guy, class act, absolutely bombs it. And I expect he'll be in the top 10 pretty darn soon. Actually, they got some World Long Drive events coming up in other spots as well. We've got Ryan Huddleston, who's a local product. He can get it out there. Sean McQuarrie is a guy that's just passionate about golf.
Of course.
He loves golf. I'm sure you know of Sean. And Cody Billinghurst, who is our defending champion from Sault Ste. Marie. Just to put in perspective, his winning drive last year was 418 yards. The finals are on number 1. at Trillium, which is a par 5 if you're familiar with that one. And
Creek does not come into play for
Creek
them.
does not come into play. I should mention too, Scott, you asked like how were we able to connect with some of these guys, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, you know, we have 2 guys that I'm working with very closely, 3 actually. Jason Zubak, of course, the GOAT of long drive. And Jason has been instrumental in the connections and the networking that he's been able to do. And we're so happy to have him involved. And that's exciting. And people, I mean, the opportunity to meet Jason is something you don't get every day either.
Sure.
And Wes Patterson from World Long Drive has been a great help. And Hendrik Vandergeld is working alongside me as well.
Okay, nice.
We're trying to recruit some, you should help with this. We're trying to, there's got to be some long bombing Canadian PGA guys that want to test their metal.
I would think so. Do you have room for some more competitors, or what's the case?
Yeah, so we're almost full. We still have a couple spots left. I've got some more announcements that are going to be coming up. But I also want to mention, Scott, the international appeal. You know, we talked about the US, we talked about Canada. We got hitters coming in from the UK. Owen Meads is one of them. He actually has family in Peterborough, small world.
Weird.
So and guess who his cousin is?
Oh, I don't even want.
Jeff and John Mills.
Come on.
That's his cousin. I'm not even kidding.
Which not only Peterborough ties, but obviously Belleville and Quincy
Belleville ties. So how random is that?
Yeah.
We have the 6-time Japanese World Long Drive champion Naoto Misumi is coming over. We have Australian content, Sebastian Twaddell and Matt Stubbs, and they're making big waves.
Oh yeah,
with long drive.
Seb,
Sebastian is 6'6", I believe, 270. Like these guys are beasts. I always compare it to like it's like watching professional wrestlers who golf. That's kind of the feel.
That's a good way to put it.
The energy. You got bad guys, good guys, charisma. It's unbelievable. Like people will be blown away.
So how do people go about getting tickets? What's the situation there? How do they connect with you as far as social media, that sort of things? Let me know the details.
Yeah, so they can connect with me on Instagram through @Zeke Agency. That's one easy way. You can also search Jodie Jenkins on Twitter. You'll find me there. The best place and the easiest place to get tickets is abramstickets.com. And what we've done is created an all-access pass. So for $35, you can come to the Abrams concert and you can come to the Long Drive finals and enjoy 2 entertaining days that for $35 you can't beat that. And I should mention, Scott, this whole event, when we started this, was in support of the Grace Inn Shelter, a 21-bed shelter here in Belleville, and Shiloh House, a 6-bed transition unit. I'm very passionate about those projects. I was involved with the team that started them. And one of the cool things we do, not to take up too much time, but the night before, the Wednesday night of the concert, we have all the teams come in and they bid on who they want to play with, the long driver. We've done that since day one. I mean, it's nothing unique to pairing parties and all that stuff, but it's something that a lot of people have never experienced, right? Let alone playing with a pro. But all those funds raised from that go directly to the shelter. And I'm expecting some of our biggest numbers ever in terms of what we raise at that auction. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I bet just for the people alone. So. I mean, I think some of those guys have gone into the mainstream now. I mean, you think about Kyle Berkshire, Martin Borgmeyer. I mean, these people are, these guys are known not among just, long drive circuit. We see them on YouTube, we see them on social media, we see them on everything now. So it certainly should cause a lot of attention and, maybe dig a few extra dollars out of the pocket for those great causes.
Yeah. So abramstickets.com. It's worth the drive. If you're outside of Belleville, you won't be disappointed at all. It's going to be good.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you under the lights. So
yes, it's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Jodie. Really appreciate it. And everybody reach out. And if everybody didn't get those details, if they want to reach out to us as well, we'd be happy to share any details and get them connected with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Scott. I appreciate the support.
All right. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Promised, delivered, awesome.
Some of the world's best.
This certainly seems like now we've known Jodie for a long time. He's been kind of involved in radio, involved in golf. Like this is we've
20 plus years.
It's a long time. But what he's doing here with this event is yikes.
It's gonna be cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to going down there. I mean, you're talking about a field with 4 world champions, as he talked about in there. The Kyle Berkshires, the Martin Borgmeyer. I mean, these are the longest guys in the world under the lights at Trillium. Music, you got we've got the Pro-Am event or whatever. It's going to be a good time, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I have seen some of these long drivers in person before, but man, full out competition and happening here in Eastern Ontario, that's pretty cool.
Scott McLeod, you're a long driver in your own right.
30 years ago. Yeah, used to compete 30 years ago, but man, everybody got big, fast, strong.
You see these guys?
Oh,
They're
it's
freaking
insane.
one. I mean,
It's
since
insane.
the Jason Zuback era.
Yeah, and Jason will be there. He's part of the hosting
course.
committee there. Yeah.
Now, I'd like to say since Jason Zuback, everybody that's competed has been huge, but that's not necessarily the case, because
Jamie Sadlowski was
Sadlowski was not. I mean, he's
he's
strong,
tall, but
I mean, this is a guy that had like a perfectly balanced, perfect golf swing, not like the guys that are hitting it a ton. Now it's like level. It's like these guys are on it completely. They're rocking all over the place, and it's crazy what they're doing now. To be able to generate an extra mile per hour, an extra 2 miles per hour, an extra, some more ball speed, some more club head speed, like every little tiny thing they do.
Yeah.
Well,
there's more science behind it now. They understand, how to create more force, how to swing faster. So that helps. Bigger, stronger athletes competing in it. There's just more attention to it. And we knew the game, or that, that sport would explode at some point. But yeah, you see the athletes coming to it now. And I mean, just, the Kyle Berkshires, and like I said, Martin Borgmeyer and Wes Patterson, Justin James, these guys are all going to be there. And just what they've done in this sport and how they're pushing it every time. I mean, just pushing it. And we got athletes here coming, as Jodie said, from all over the world, England, Australia, and they're coming to little old Belleville.
I know, it's crazy,
which is really cool to see. And I think people, if they play with friends and they know somebody who's really long, it's nothing like this. I'll tell you what, this is watching F1. This is really, that's your friend driving fast on the 401. This is F1. So I mean, for you to be able to go and see that and see it in person, it just numbs your brain when you see it. And I've seen Kyle Berkshire, hit indoors. I've seen him hit outdoors, but I mean, just to hear it, and it's a totally different level, but really cool to see, and under the lights as well, which will be fun. And what's neat though is anybody who's played Trillium Wood in Belleville, they're going to be able to see that first fairway and relate to it. Oh, how do I play this par 5?
Not like that.
Not like that. Yeah. So I mean, and we're not saying every golf ball falls in the fairway, but I mean, you're going to see some shots here that are just unbelievable, and just seeing these athletes compete. These are the best in the world. That's it, the best in the world. So should be a lot of fun. Thanks for Jodie for doing that. And as we mentioned, I've been a guest on his show multiple times. And then it was nice to have him back on and talk about something that he's doing.
Very cool. So make sure you check out this event,
Endless Summer.
Endless Summer, and get down to Belleville to watch this, because I mean, the chances are, I doubt very much, if you don't do this, that you're ever really going to have the opportunity to see this kind of talent, this kind of level of talent doing this long drive competition stuff outside of watching it on TV. Like, this is your opportunity. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Well, Scotty Mac, what an awesome show.
Good stuff.
Always nice when we can throw a really cool interview in with somebody like that about an event that's really neat too. So, it's not always just us talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got some, and we got
I could
some
listen
more
to myself all day, really.
But nobody else wants to, right?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes I just put the microphone by my desk when I'm working, and I just talk and have the headphones on, just so I can hear myself.
Oh, not so good. And you know what? We're gonna have more throughout the summer. Obviously, it's not going to be every single week or whatever, but lots of different athletes and so forth. And there's some different little side trips and things we'll be doing, and we'll get some other interviews and stuff throughout the year.
There you go. Now, did you have you got a partner for the media cup at Tarandoa, right?
Yeah, the unfortunate part is it's the day before the pro.
Maybe
Why?
you and your partner should.
Why? Why do you want to play in it?
The problem is I saw the email come through, and I do want to play because it is kind of cool to.
Tarandau is awesome.
But if it was like a 2-person scramble,
it's better ball.
Then maybe I'd be up for it because then you could carry me. But if it's better ball, then I actually have to do something. I have to produce, and it's net better ball, and I haven't played enough to have an index that I can legally make high enough. I don't think we'd stand a snowball's chance, and
I think it's more of a chance just to go out and play. But yeah, unfortunately, it's obviously down in southwestern Ontario, down towards London area.
But you got to focus on the pro.
Of course,
it's laser.
Of course, that's my next event. So yeah, I got to make up for. Didn't play that well last year.
No.
So I mean,
Well,
top 15s are no good.
Last I checked, you had a partner.
I do, and we've managed to finish T3 and a T5, and we haven't got that medal. We haven't got that big.
No, D-Mac and Scott Mac gonna get it together.
Yeah, definitely.
Get it together, D-Mac.
Yeah, all right. Maybe I should practice. Maybe I should go do that right now.
Practice is good too. Practice is good. Okay, we're gonna get out.
Yep.
Thanks to all the sponsors this week: Metcalf Golf Club, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, Kevin Haime Golf School, and of course our presenting sponsor, TaylorMade with Stealth. They have pushed past the limits of titanium and introduced the world to the carbon wood age. How far are they willing to take it? Well, way past far and into forgiveness. Introducing the all-new Stealth 2 Plus. Combine the elements of speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness. Visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca to learn more. Thank you. I am sure that I know I'm enjoying doing this with Mr. McLeod every week, and I'm sure that you're enjoying listening or watching or however you like to follow this podcast. Be sure that you do follow us across all social media networks: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Subscribe to Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And do not forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us, click the notification bell. Don't miss a single episode, because if you do, you may miss a contest or some really cool content on the website as well, or on the YouTube channel as well. Get over to flagstick.com for more amazing golf content delivered every day.
Every day.
As always, we appreciate you tuning in to us. Until next week, I am Jeff Potter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Remember, always go for the stick.